Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Barriss.
Hello.
Wow. Listen to that crowd. Listen to that crowd.
Make sure I get my 3 marks on the cameras.
Amazingly, the crowd noise corresponded with me hitting that button. That was so weird.
That's weird.
That's because we got a sold out house in here. Let me hear you one more time, folks.
How we doing?
Whoa. Huh? Hey, everybody.
Yeah, no, you. Come on.
I'm Cody Troutman, and this is my podcast. The Cody Trout Pod.
Dude, thanks for coming by.
Of course.
The Trout Pod back
Thank you for
in full
having
swing.
me. Yeah.
I like those pants, just in case.
Thank you.
You had to hunt some trout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hunt some trouts on your way.
Yeah,
in.
if I need to be low key getting out of here, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a very tight, secure neighborhood. I like it.
It is. Yeah, it is a little too secure. We record at my parents' house. If anybody doesn't know that, they had a guest room, but they didn't have a lot of guests, and so I turned it into my place to host guests.
Now you have guests.
Now I have guests.
Take that, mom and dad.
But so you and I mostly know each other through comedy.
Yes.
I would say mostly, exclusively. That's how we
through
met.
comedy, yeah.
That's why we hang out.
Yeah.
You know. But today we're gonna get to know all about you outside of comedy. A lot of good stuff.
Fun.
You've told me a couple funny stories about your current job, which you might be transitioning from soon, but your current job outside of comedy.
Yes.
Which is applying fertilizer to grow plants, but also killing animals, right?
So I kill weeds and put the fertilizer on the grass, but the company has a pesticide that I'm not on, and they have started killing a lot of animals.
Are you not on it for moral reasons?
No. I mean, I wouldn't enjoy it. It's not like a goal of mine, but there's all these other like certifications and stuff you have to get, and that sounds lame.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
That is lame. I remember you told me a brief story the other day. I think you might have even told this on a pod, but I want to hear it in its entirety again.
Yeah.
So your company has just begun this pest control arc, but there's very specific rules about how the pests must be controlled.
Yeah. So the state regulates how you do all that. Yeah. You get the certifications through the state. And so like here's what you do. If a place calls about like a raccoon or a possum, you set a trap. It's like a little cage in their yard. Yeah. And then one of our guys goes and checks the traps like early in the morning. And so I'll get to work and he'll have the traps like in the back of his truck. And apparently the state says, which this sounds like bullshit, but apparently the state says if you catch an animal in a trap, you can't let them go because they're too stressed to survive. Oh. So instead, they want you to gas the animals. So like when I get to work in the morning, there's like a big plastic container with a lid on it with like a big gas tank and a hose that goes into the container. Oh. And there'll just be like 3 animals like on deck basically to get gassed. And the other day I went over to the truck. Stupidly, I don't know why I want to look at the animals before they're massacred. Oh. But there was a raccoon in a cage, and it was the most tranquil raccoon I've ever seen. Oh. He looked so peaceful and just like sad. And he was on deck, and everything in me wanted to save him.
So if I may interject, it sounds like, based on your first-hand experience with this raccoon, the propaganda the state is putting out about his stress levels, false.
Yeah.
He was really
totally
relaxed.
False. Now, I've seen squirrels especially. Squirrels go crazy in a cage. Yeah. They're going nuts. But the raccoon, it's like...
That's good. That's a good one there.
Yeah, this shit's too easy.
John Wallen's going to be like, ripping my material on the Trout Pod.
My bad, party foul. No, but like, yeah, he seemed fine. I was like, if we let him go, he's going to do great. I can see it in his eyes. He's ready for a new chapter. He's going to stay out of yards. It sucks, dude. It sucks to be just like a woodland creature who just happens upon a neighborhood. And then the people are like, kill it.
Oh,
that
man.
sucks.
And now, let me ask, this gassing death chamber, is this state provided, or do they ask you to kind of just make your own?
It's extremely makeshift. It's very DIY death camp.
Do they even have regulations, or they're just like, listen, however you want to kill these things?
They just say gas it, I think.
No way.
So I think we could organize like a fun hunt if we wanted to. The property's fenced in. We could just close the gate. That'd be a fun like day off thing.
That would be fun.
I'd be down for that.
Could be even an additional revenue stream.
Yeah, and we wouldn't even have to use guns. We could just like makeshift spears and get very like tribal with it. Make it like a challenge. If they escape, they escape. That's like fair game.
Yeah.
Let them go.
That's true. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, if this is an uncouth question, you let me know.
Okay.
But as a Jewish man, is there a moral dilemma that you have with this?
It is like
round them up and gas them
I mean,
situation?
when I hear like gassing, I do tend to think of one event in history. Yeah, but I don't think we're killing 6 million animals yet. I don't think we've reached.
Well, did they even kill them? No, I don't want to get into that.
Pretty good number.
Yeah,
but then at the end of the day, like they just dump the carcasses into the dumpster.
That was my next point. What do they just the dead carcasses just get thrown away?
It goes to the dump, and it reeks. The smell of death is no joke. It's not good.
Just you leave work one day, you're like, wow, smells like money. We made some good money today.
It's great. Like you can go to like if I have to throw something away in the dumpster, I'll hold my breath, and it's like the demon of the stench is like at my face. I'll go all the way back to the shop and finally breathe in, and it's like there. It's so bad.
Now, do you think an animal killed in how would I phrase this?
Combat?
Do you think an animal killed in combat smells differently than an animal that met an untimely gas?
It's a good question. I don't know if the gas smells like anything or not. It could be adding to it for sure.
Oh man.
But I think, like people talk about like this, the smell of death is bad. I don't know if I'm just smelling death or like funked up death. I don't know, but it's not good. I don't like it.
It sounds like things need to stop dying.
Yeah.
If we want to improve the smell out there.
That's a big thing. I think some people are like looking into that. Just no more death.
No more death.
Not our people. Our people are retarded, but someone out there.
Dude, you know what I heard? So you know that there's like the trends among, I guess, people our age to like drink raw milk and, you know, all these like things that are untreated. It's like pasteurization of milk saved millions of people. And it's like, well, maybe we don't do that.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say the other day, anybody who prefers raw milk has never been within 10 feet of an actual cow.
Yeah, I could go for that.
I've only been around cows once. They smell like shit.
They're really bad. Yeah.
They're gross. They just...
I prefer chocolate milk above all else. So I'm not even, just type shit. You know?
Chocolate milk type shit. I'm just
chocolate milk type shit.
Yeah, I'm just on that.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't understand what the difference is. Like, I know the word difference, pasteurized versus raw.
Yeah.
I don't know what that process looks like. The whole conversation around milk to me is yucky, first and foremost. I'm not interested in getting in the weeds on that.
Yeah.
I like chocolate milk. I don't want that ruined for me with more information.
That's a good point. I think like every vegan I talked to, you know what their problem was? They got too much information.
Yeah, way too much. I've seen those documentaries.
I
went vegan for like a week.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because I watched a documentary and I had too much information.
Oh, yeah.
And then eventually, I don't know, a steak sounds nice. You're like, I'll overlook it.
You're like, it's been enough time.
Yeah.
The documentary.
And now it's like I can't even super remember all the information.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this one video of a pig. That's locked in, but I just don't eat a lot of pork, so it's fine. It's not a big deal. Yeah.
But I mean, you're Muslim as well, so I think that probably
exactly. Yeah.
Can you imagine? What if you were Muslim?
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Can you be Muslim and Jewish? Is that allowed?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
no,
that's probably not allowed.
There's a pretty serious beef going on right now that involves those two things.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what it's over. Is maybe they both want to be both.
Yeah,
and they're just
that's the ending.
Each is gatekeeping the other.
Yeah.
I heard William Montgomery had a joke about it, and I'm sure he wasn't like the first, but he said Israel versus Palestine. I just hope they're both having fun.
That is all you can hope for.
Yeah, that's classic. So, okay, here's something I've always wondered about. Is it mostly like residential yard care? Is the fertilizer and weed killing portion? It's mostly residential?
Yeah, it's mostly residential. We do a fair amount of businesses, but there's just more houses than businesses.
That's a statistic, right?
Yeah, per capita.
You're telling me each person in the U.S. has less than one business owned per person?
Yeah, typically.
Here's something I've always wondered. How do the chemicals know what's a weed and what's grass? How do the chemicals know what to kill and what to leave alive?
A lot of things depend on it. Like there are certain types of weeds, like there's leafy weeds and there's grassy weeds. So that's your main distinction.
Okay.
So there's chemicals that target both of those. And then from there, it's like time of year, temperature, stuff like that.
Whole science.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, so like when people, it's really annoying when you get to a house and a customer's like, "What are you putting down?" and you tell them, and then they're like, "What's in that?" I'm like, shut up, go inside. Just I'm gonna take care of it.
Is it the same people who like get really up in arms about like what's in the vaccine?
Probably, yeah, probably.
Do you have any know-it-all customers that try to tell you like how to?
The most. I have so many.
I can imagine there's a lot of guys like over 50 that really are particular about their yard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like their only concern in life, and I can't relate to that. So right off the bat, I kind of hate them.
They're like, my marriage is failing, but this yard will be green.
That's literally them. They don't give a fuck about anything else. It's like their whole thing is like, segregation was a good idea. There's too many gay people. My wife is a bitch, but this is gonna. I have control over this. Yeah. So it's like I don't care. I just don't care.
Dude, that's such a good analogy. Like all the things that they used to know are changing.
Yes.
But this yard,
but grass is green. Yeah.
And if it's not, somebody's getting fired.
Someone's gonna pay.
Yeah.
And they want it to be me, but I just don't care. That's the thing.
Do they ever try to tell you to do something differently than like what you're doing?
Yeah, like the other day, this I don't know what the type of tree is, but the stuff that falls from it is not leaves.
Okay.
It's like a lacy looking thing that turns red when it's dead and it falls on the ground. So I was putting down fertilizer, and like if there's a really bad leaf coverage, there's no point in putting down fertilizer because it's just going to sit on top of the leaves.
Okay.
But this stuff, it leaves all these gaps in the grass, so it just sinks down.
Gotcha.
So I'm putting down the fertilizer. We called this lady. We told her we were there. And then I start applying it, and she comes out, and she's like, my husband said there's no point because of all this stuff. And I was like, what stuff? She was like, the stuff on the ground. And I was like, oh, it's just falling down to the grass. And she goes, no. Oh. This is my first yard of the day. It's like 8:15 in the morning.
There we go.
And I was like, well, I'm the one applying it. And I just watched it go down to the grass. So, and then, dude, she goes, you will not speak to me that way.
What?
And I was just, I wanted to just punch her. So I was just kind of frozen. So my buddy who's with me comes up and he's like, whoa, what's going on? And she like talks to him, and he's trying to explain the same thing I said. And
he's trying to explain gravity.
Right, exactly. There's this thing where stuff falls, and she, like, while he's talking, she looks at me and she goes, you stop that. And I was like, stop what?
What?
And she goes, you know what you're doing. I was like, listening to you while you talk?
You're like respecting women by listening when they speak?
She didn't even he finished what he was saying. She didn't even look at him. She's just staring at me. And then she turns around to go inside, and she starts to wobble really bad.
Oh no.
And my friend like went to help her because he wasn't sure if she was going to fall. And I was just like, no, let her fall.
How bad would that have been if she wiped out and then she's just on the ground? And
I mean, I know in theory it's bad. I would have loved it in the moment.
So here's my question. Why do these people book these appointments if they have such strong feelings about how they want it done?
Brother, if I knew the answer, because there are some people who are just, their problems just in life. Yeah. So they're going to be problem as customers.
That's true.
And she was one of those people. Like, it's something every time we go out there. So they finally, because they called the front desk and just like screamed at the people at the office. So my boss was just like, just cancel them. We're done. And that was tight.
Cancel culture. I'm telling you what.
Yeah. So I kind of sacrificed my own sanity that day to save the company.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I told everybody. I was like, you're welcome. I did this for all of us.
They give you an 8-cent raise.
Yeah. So just thank God for nicotine, I guess. That was the only thing keeping me from pure rage at that moment.
But you're currently looking for a new occupation, is that right?
Yes.
Can we say that?
Yeah, please. Okay. Yeah. I hate my job.
Is it the customers or the work itself that you're trying to get rid of?
The work is really simple, but it's like I'm outside all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like all the extremes. So in the summer, it's just like impossible to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
In the winter, it was like, especially like February, March, it's just gonna be like wet and cold.
Yeah.
It's just, ugh. And then the cherry on top is the customers. I can't put into words how much I dislike these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Just people that are super passionate and micromanagey about their yard.
Yeah, and it's I don't care if it's if it's a job I care about a little that I can kind of get on board with. It's like that's cool, but I hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you think if someday you have a big yard of your own, will you be super passionate about it? Or out of spite, will you just let it be in total disrepair?
Well, here's the deal. If you mow often enough and you don't water too often, your yard is going to be relatively weed free. That's what people don't know.
Oh, wow.
Like, you don't need all this shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But all the people... They like, there was one lady who, she was mad she had weeds, and it's like late July, early August. And I was like, well, she shouldn't have these many weeds. Like, there's not even enough nutrients for it to get this much. So I was like, what's your water schedule like? And she was like, we water 3 times a day.
Jesus.
I'm like, that's too, she literally told me, she goes, my water bill is $700 a month.
Oh my God.
Which is my rent. I was like, at that moment, I hate you.
Oh, that's so funny.
I was just like, yeah, I can't help you. That's insane. Like, anything I'm putting down is getting washed away in 12 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it's really not that complicated. Just mow, water a
little bit
around sunrise, maybe every other day. You're good.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
That's a good strategy right there.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's good. I know a lot of people, like in my parents' neighborhood, the houses are like kind of nicer, so people will get micromanage about it. They love that thick fescue.
Yes.
And it's by how often I see people out there work on it, it seems hard to maintain.
It's a very high maintenance grass.
And I don't think it's right for the Oklahoma climate.
No, if your yard is like all trees, it'll do fine. But Bermuda's the way to go in Oklahoma. Unfortunately, sorry, Will Burnson. It's
Does he hate Bermuda grass?
He just loves fescue, and he's right. Fescue is awesome when it looks good, but it's like it's so hard to maintain in this heat. If you don't have shade, you're screwed.
A lot of golf courses around here use Bermuda grass in the rough because it's easier to maintain, but it is exceptionally difficult to play out of.
Yes,
and so it's
you can kind of get lucky if you get a lie that's like kind of sitting on top of the grass.
Yeah,
that's nice because it's like a makeshift tee. But if it goes to the bottom, it's like, dude, you got to really hit down on it and hope for the best.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
Yeah, now I could just start talking about. We should have an episode. Me, you, and Will just discuss different types of grass. And I'll do it from a golfer's perspective. You do it from a maintenance perspective. He does it from just like a
hippie perspective,
love of the game.
Yeah.
I love watching him on social media because, like, when you hang out with him in person, he's just like talking comedy. But if you look at his social media posts, he's like really into grass.
He loves grass. He hates that I have the job that I do.
Yeah.
And he was like, you should get a different job. I was like, yeah. He was like, why do you do that? I was like, because they pay me. It's like I needed a job and they paid me. It's not like my passion.
Like, why does he think you should let it just be like how it is naturally?
Yeah, he's just like a no pesticides guy and herbicides guy, which I probably am too. My job sucks. The whole industry is just stupid.
But now at least you're gassing animals, so that's like a good.
Yeah, it's a way more wholesome thing.
That's a good thing to get into.
Yeah, exactly. This is better for everybody.
What do you think is the biggest animal they would gas? Like if they caught it in one of these traps,
That's a good question.
Oh, here's a question. What if you catch a stray dog in one of these traps?
Oh my god. I would step in at that point. I would save it. I'd be like, give me Max.
It's like a giant golden retriever.
Yeah,
clearly well groomed. It's like, well, put him in the gas chamber.
I'm pretty sure I could get us shut down if that happened. if I call the right people. I'll call the ASPCA if I need to.
Honestly, you could, with how passionate my sister is, you could just call my sister.
Perfect.
And she would probably burn down the entire building just to save that dog.
Will she do that anyway? Yeah. Can I make up a story and she'll burn it down?
My sister, so she was in town for Christmas, and in the court, her life is just like always exciting.
Yeah.
Mostly for the wrong reasons.
Nice.
You know, gets into a lot of not
Fights.
like trouble, but just like shenanigans where.
She stabbed a couple homeless people.
Yeah, she's like very adventurous.
Yeah.
So an example, within an hour when she was here for Christmas, my sister within 1 hour flushed her only credit card down the toilet.
Oh my god.
Down a public toilet.
Oh my god.
And that got her arm stuck trying to get it out, couldn't reach it, and within the same hour went to visit a friend who had a farm, rode a donkey, fell off and got a concussion.
Wow. Holy crap.
All in the span of 1 hour.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was working. She calls me and she says, do you have time for a story? She tells me the credit card story. 30 minutes later, I get another call. I thought it was a credit card update. And she said, I hit my head real bad going to the doctor.
Oh my god. That's insane.
We were supposed to go to my cousin's girlfriend's birthday. And having to explain to a group of people that, hey, my sister's not going to be here because she got a concussion when she fell off a donkey.
A donkey beat my sister's ass.
They were like, wow, that excuse is so unique. I believe it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
where does she live?
She lives in Denver, but she was here for the holidays.
Okay.
She just has so many friends that when she comes to town, they're all like, come do this, unique experience thing.
Yeah.
And she's just like booked and busy.
See, that's why I don't do unique experiences. That's too much trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I'll have to show you the video of her falling off the donkey. It was really funny.
I like pretty standard experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, an experience you had unique lately was a show we did together, a Christmas show in Chickasha. You had the most intense heckler experience I've ever witnessed live.
Yeah, she did not like me. And to be fair, I hated her. So
Yeah.
there's some tit for tat there. But I guess she didn't like my joke about autism. Because I have a joke about my son being autistic and how that made me think I was autistic because of this checklist they send. And it's literally just like 2 minutes of me making fun of myself. And it's killing, by the way.
It was going really well.
It was doing really good.
It was going really
good. She's just like, I guess she was just really unhappy. But she came up drunk, like noticeably drunk, which I never understand. Like when you're in public like that and the whole room can tell you're drunk right away, that's too much.
Too much.
That's from a guy who drinks often. I'm like, how do you do that? I don't get it. But she comes up, she's being a problem. And then it was the first heckler I've had who was like really trying to derail my set.
Yeah.
Like really trying to end it.
Because hecklers, contrary to what social media might lead people to believe, a truly belligerent, crazy heckler is not a common experience.
No, it's
People
very rare.
will shout stuff out.
Yeah.
People will be rowdy. And it's just kind of like, usually they don't even mean anything malicious. They're just kind of being dumb.
Yeah.
But this lady, from my perspective in the back, because then I'll ask your perspective on stage, I'm sitting in the back. I had already gone up for context, and she comes up. She's being really loud and really, she walks up to another comic on the show named Gabby, and she gets right in her face, and she's like, your sweater, I need it.
Yeah.
I need to take it off your body.
Yes.
I want it right now.
Yes.
And we're like, whoa.
Just immediately you're like, oh my God.
We were like, Gabby, do you know her? And she's like, no, I've never met. And so we're like, okay.
Shit.
So then throughout your set, she's just getting more and more wound up. And me and Caleb's back there, and he's just like, classic Caleb comment. He's like, oh my God, I hope she gets kicked out before I go on stage.
Yeah. And she did, thankfully.
She did.
You're welcome.
And so finally, she got so pissed at the autism joke that she was just like and then when you finished, you said something about having weird friends.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh yeah, I bet you have weird friends because you're really fucking weird, and I bet the only people who hang out with you are weird people."
Yeah, and then she called herself weird and was like, "I have weird friends too." And then I was like, "Are you trying to relate to me right now?"
Yeah, you were like, "I can't tell if you're mad or just like."
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on, and I was playing it funny. Like I had the crowd on my side, so I was trying to like keep it funny, and then she just kept going. And then finally I was like, hey, shut the fuck up. And like, I think I told her to fall down the stairs at one point.
You did.
I told the audience it only takes one drunk bitch to ruin a show.
You did.
Just fun stuff like that. And then finally I was like, I looked at the booker. I was like, hey, how do we make this stop? How do we make her go away?
She's got to go.
She's not stopping.
Yeah.
So I think she was quiet for a second. And then I started something else, and then she was like loud again.
Yeah.
And then thankfully the bouncer, I don't know if he was the bouncer, the owner, or what, he just like popped up from the way back. And I was like, oh yeah. So she comes up. This was the funniest part to me.
This was the best part.
Yeah, he was walking behind her, and I was like, I think you got a friend coming up behind you. And she goes, yeah, I do, and they're better than yours. And then he gets in front of her, and she goes, oh.
I have that part on video.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember
That's the funniest part to me.
Yeah.
And then after she was removed, because she grabbed another person, and then that guy was like, either she leaves or I'm filing charges. Which I was like, that's tight. I like that.
Definitely took it all the way there.
He did.
He wasn't playing around.
I wanted to hug him. I was like, you're the man.
Yeah.
She got removed, and then she lost her phone, which was the most rewarding.
And then she kept calling it.
Yes.
So you could just hear it going off. And she
Just
kept
somewhere
trying
in
to
the
come back
room.
upstairs.
Yes.
She was like, it's up here. I was like, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
It's downstairs on that table you were just
That's
at.
hilarious. I didn't even realize that.
The best part is that because it was a free show, she doesn't get kicked out. They just moved her downstairs.
Yeah, so you can still
she moved,
hear her.
She moved 30 feet.
Yeah.
In
It's
total.
like that was when you went up, I was nervous because the music was still very loud. You could hear everyone downstairs clear as day.
Yeah.
By the time the second comic got up there, about halfway through her set, it had quieted down some. But then I'm pretty sure that's when she came up, and I was like, "You just can't win here. What's happening?" But it was, all in all, it was a fun show, and they were a good crowd.
It was fun.
I had fun.
The way you handled it was so good because you kept it one level lighter than her hostility. And I think that's what made it so funny.
Yeah, I tried to do that, and then when I finally told her to shut the fuck up, I heard the bouncer tell the booker, like, yeah, when he said that, I knew it was time to go get her. Which is cool. I like that.
God, that was so funny.
You could have got her sooner. That wouldn't have been bad, but whatever.
You were talking about, so the joke that she didn't like, I actually think that's a really fascinating personal story as well. So couple of things I've always been curious about. I would love to know about. So you, and this will all get back to this joke, I promise. But you and your wife have been together since you were pretty young, right?
Yeah, I was like 22, I believe.
Because me and you were like, you're 29, right?
Yeah.
Me and you were the same age. And so you guys got married and you had kids very young.
Yes. I think I was 24
Damn.
when I had kids.
That is young.
Yeah.
So what did it feel like going from, because it's like high school, did you go to college?
For like 2 semesters.
So high school, college, and then all of a sudden married dad.
Yeah.
What did that, I mean, because that'll happen in a really short period of time. What did that feel like to go from like, like what's next to like, oh shit, it's real.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's also like, I was raised very religious, so it's kind of the only thing I knew.
Gotcha.
So in a sense, it was pretty normal to me. Like my brother and sister are both younger than me, and they're both married with kids.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, like
I didn't know that.
I don't know. It's just kind of like we just never saw it happening a different way.
Yeah.
Which like you grow up some, and you're like, that is kind of nuts, but it is what it is at this point, and it's like, I think it's just right person, right time, and like you can. I mean, it's one of those things where like. People ask anytime you get anything new in life, people are like, are you ready? It's like, I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. Like my parents got married young, her parents got married young. So it's just kind of normal for us. The first kid, was planned. The second one was not. But it was all, I wouldn't change anything. It was awesome. But the first one, he was born with, I won't go into all the details, but basically he was in the NICU for his first like 9 days.
Whoa.
So we couldn't take him home for that long. So that was super scary.
Yeah.
Which he's all good now. But that was scary. Just because, like, I don't know, like when something happens to like an adult that's like connected to you but not directly, it's like that's one thing.
Yeah.
But then when it's your child and then it's a health thing with a lot of question marks on top of that, it was like, oh my God, this is the most stressed I've ever been. But yeah, he's all good now. So I don't know, like people always ask that question, like, are you ready? I think you're as ready as you're gonna be before a thing happens. Like you can't be ready for fatherhood before it happens. Like a good example is like I knew a guy in high school who was like an alcoholic in high school.
Ooh.
Yeah, like he'd show up to football games like blackout, like when it started, and he's one of those guys where like you'd be at a party and he'd show up late and he drove himself and he's wasted.
Damn.
And you're like, how did you get here? And he's like, I don't know.
Whoa.
Like that kind of thing. And then we went to school together for my short time there. He got like a high school girlfriend pregnant and he just became like a totally different person.
Whoa.
Like it flipped a switch. He like got his shit together.
Unbelievable.
Started saving money, like got sober. And now, like, I haven't talked to him in a while, but now I think they're just like a happy family. Like,
that's kind of incredible.
Yeah, like so, like, the love for your kid is very like primal. It's hard to explain, which is why when you see someone who has kids who like is like noticeably shitty to their children, that's like the biggest red flag for me of a person, because there's something like wrong there to me.
One thing, so I don't have kids, so I can only relate to it from like a secondhand point of view. But one thing I've always deeply respected about you is your sense of humor, very nonchalant. You're kind of just like a laugh it off kind of silly guy. One thing you're not nonchalant about is like being a dad and like being all about your kids.
Yeah, that's
one thing you don't play about.
That's the number one thing.
And I've always thought that, because when I was first getting to know you, you know, you're just like this chill guy. I'm like, Tyler's really cool. But then, like, when you would talk about your kids or your kids would come up, it was like, damn, this dude is like has a whole nother side to him.
Yes.
That he would die for these kids.
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember that was very apparent early. I've always respected that about you.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's weird. Like the moment your child is born, you feel like you would kill for them or die for them. And it's like, you can't explain, like you don't even know them. It's just, it's very weird.
That's cool.
It's hard to explain, but that never goes away. So if you see someone who like clearly doesn't have that, it's like a fucked up person.
Yeah.
I don't like those people.
That's an interesting, but it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Where you know the experience that they've had because you've had it. And from your perspective, you're like, if it didn't affect you this way, we have nothing in common. I don't respect you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
I totally get that.
But yeah.
You mentioned that it was your youngest that was in the NICU for like 9 days.
Oldest. Yeah, the oldest.
Obviously, you said most stressful experience of your life. How do you handle something like that? Because obviously you're just like trusting the doctors to figure it out. I mean, what do you do during that time? And obviously it's tough because you're super stressed, but you also have to be like a partner to your wife as well.
Yeah.
How do you balance like supporting each other while being like, damn, I'm struggling too?
Yeah, there's like, I don't know. It's very difficult because you're like, on the one hand, you're kind of in it together, and it's mostly question marks. And like the thing he was born with is called CMV. I don't remember what that stands for, but apparently like 90% of people have it. Who it affects is people with weak immune systems. So if you have like an autoimmune disorder, HIV, or you're an infant, that's when it affects you.
And when you're born, you are an infant.
Yes, that's the thing about infants. It's right out the gate, they are one. So he had that, and it can cause like a litany of side effects.
Great.
So like, thank you. The doctor tells us what it is. I'll never forget this. I Googled it. Huge mistake.
Oh yeah.
The first thing that comes up is a kid with like a shrunken head.
Oh no.
I remember I closed the window and I have not researched it since.
Oh, probably for the best.
Yeah,
I mean, my God.
I was like not allowed to go on WebMD when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because I would be like, I'm terminal. I'm going to die.
WebMD, no matter what you type in, because kind of everything could be a symptom for something way more serious.
Yes.
For some reason, WebMD is like, this 99% of the time, it's probably just a little bit of respiratory congestion. In your case, it is a tumor, though.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, I have a slight cough. It's testicular cancer. Like, that's where my brain goes. So I'm like, everyone tells me like I seem like calm, cool, and collected. I'm a freak.
Really?
Oh my God. Like,
Whoa.
I'm a big overthinker. I'm anxious about like everything. I guess I've just figured out how to make it not look like that. Because like Dace, I give Dace a lot of shit. I relate to Dace like well, and that's why like one time I was making fun of him for something. He was freaking out.
Yeah,
and he was like, "You just always seem so cool." I was like, "Wow." I literally told my family at the dinner table, and they all started laughing.
Yeah,
like everyone knows I'm a freak.
Whoa.
So like I can't. So in that sense, that time with my son was super stressful because it was like. It's all my worst fears.
Yeah.
So it was nuts. It was so scary. But he's good now. And like everything turned out okay.
But in the moment, you don't know that. So there's no way to be like, it'll all be all right.
Yeah. I mean, like we got to hold him for like 15 minutes when he was born and they took him away. And I don't think we saw him for like 12 hours or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn.
And then when you go in there, he's got like all these IVs and like hoses. He's under like a UV light.
Whoa.
Because he can't jaundice. He can't be jaundice. So I guess UV light helps with that.
Whoa.
So he looks like a science experiment when you go see him.
Damn.
You're like, this isn't how I figured this would go. Like, this is terrible.
Dude, that's so scary.
Yeah.
One thing, okay, tell me, I might be way off base here, but so you said that whether you would call it anxiety, being a freak, like you can overthink and stress about a lot of stuff, but you come across as like this super relaxed guy. I would say this will make sense in a second. A lot of people tell me that I seem pretty happy-go-lucky and warm.
Yeah.
But I would say internally, I would describe myself as very abrupt, quick to anger, and just like a prickly, not super kind person naturally.
I relate to that.
But maybe this is the same thing you did. I don't want to be that way. So, and because that's like a constant feeling, I've become very good at being able to choose not to act like that.
Yeah, I'm very motivated not to come across like a pussy, even if I am one. Like, you know what I mean? And so like, and especially like I have kids and their sons, so I'm like, you can't grow up thinking your dad's a pussy.
Oh, you want to model?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even thought of that.
So it's like that whole thing equates in the equation. I think that's how you say that. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'm like, I've always been that way. I'm very pessimistic. I'm very like worst case scenario is gonna happen.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a dark cloud in here. So I try my best not to be that because it sucks. No one wants to be that.
It's kind of noble in a way. You're like, you know what?
I guess.
I bear this burden. And so like when I'm around others, I don't want them to have to bear that burden.
I'm big on sacrifices. I'm kind of the man.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it make like, cause that's kind of a theory I have is that if somebody struggles with something, they're more accustomed to managing it.
Yeah.
So like when I see somebody flip out and get angry out of nowhere, some people might say, oh, that's an angry person. But to me, I'm like, oh, they just don't get angry a lot. So they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Like if someone is overtly, wildly stressing about something, I'm like, they must not feel that a lot because they clearly don't know how to handle it well.
Yeah, and like it drives me nuts in other people. Like when people are freaking out all the time and anxious about everything. So like,
listen, I could be acting like that, but I'm not.
Right. Basically, yeah. When I'm around that, it drives me insane. I know that's not good to be around. I would like people to like to be around me.
Yeah.
So it's all part of that, I guess. I was a pastor's kid growing up.
Yeah.
So there's like eyes on you all the time. So you kind of figure out how to like read the room, I guess.
Ooh.
That kind of helps. Like you don't want to come across in bad ways when a lot of people are watching you.
Dude, I didn't even think about that. Like being a pastor's kid, were you always acutely aware of like the pressure, or did your dad make sure that?
No, my dad was a pastor's kid too, so
man.
he came from it, so he kind of got what that was like. But like one example is like I was like 12 or 13, and I think like a line of my friends were like holding hands and skipping and like singing some stupid song. It's very gay behavior, but we were so like there's a girl next to me and I'm holding her hand.
Nice.
It gets back to my dad that I like grabbed her ass.
Whoa.
And I'm like 12. And so my dad in the car was like, "Hey, did you?" And I was like, "No."
It's like
that,
a game of sinful telephone.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't even on my radar at the time.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. And he was like, "Yeah, I didn't think so." But that was a moment where I was like, "Oh my God, like there are eyes on me all the time."
Oh. Yeah, how did that? Do you think that maybe contributed to feeling the like overanalyzing and stressing all the time? Because you always had to think about
definitely
how does this come across for the family.
Yeah,
and for the
part of it's
tough.
very natural, but the other part is like that was certainly part of it. In the denomination I grew up, I was Pentecostal growing up, and it's like. It's very Catholic in the sense of like you have a lot of guilt all the time.
Damn.
So that's something that sticks with you forever.
Gotcha.
So all of that was very formative in like being just neurotic. And it's funny, like I don't think I really realized I was that way until I could like put words to it.
Gotcha.
Like, so you could identify like what neurotic means, what anxiety is. I was just like, oh, I'm feeling these things like all the time.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was like, that's all been pretty recent, like probably early 20s, late teens is when I started to kind of put that together. So
that's hard to do.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. But all that was, my upbringing was my upbringing was formative, but that kind of unique upbringing of being in those circles and that environment is very, it sticks with you for sure.
So you said obviously your dad's a pastor and he was a pastor's kid too.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever have dreams of you to become a pastor as well and like continue the legacy?
In that world, I mean, yeah, now he's not even like a pastor. He'll have like a Bible study with a few friends like at his house. But yeah, like in that particular world, like it's viewed as almost like a calling.
Okay.
So like I think if he could do it over, I don't think he would have even been a pastor.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of pressure because like he's like third generation.
Whoa.
So yeah, it's like it's in my family, and I'm like most of my family still is that way, especially on his side. But it's like it's all very like God has called you to this, so if you're not doing it, then like you're in disobedience to God, and it's like so yeah, like it wasn't even on his radar to like do something else. Like my dad was very good at golf very quick.
Yeah.
He was just scratching like a year.
Whoa, so that's like phenom level.
Yeah, like he got stupid good quick and he loved it. And there was a second where he thought about pursuing golf.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "Go for it." Like, but there's that thing in your brain where you're like, "I can't do it." Like,
dang.
So yeah, growing up, I totally thought that's what I was gonna do, and then you get out of it, and now it's then it's just like, well, what the fuck do I do now? Like that type of deal.
Yeah. At what age, you said that you did have it in your mind, like, oh, maybe this is going to be my path. And then once you break free from it, or maybe not break free, that implies like a oppressive nature. But once you separate yourself from that idea of like, oh, this is my path, it is kind of nerve wracking.
Yeah. And I would say break free to a certain extent. I think my whole family would say that to a certain extent. 'Cause it is like, it's just weird. Pentecostals believe weird shit. It gets real. It's not even like biblical stuff. It's just all very like It's almost superstitious at times.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to, because it's a lot to get into. But
Okay.
But yeah, I would say break free is the right word. But yeah, you grow up and I'm gonna, when I reach a certain age, I'll go to Bible college. I'll meet my wife at Bible college. I'll get married, and I'll either work at this church or start my own, or it's all kind of laid out for you at a really early age, especially if your family's already in it.
Yeah.
Like that, they had this thing in the Assemblies of God, that was my denomination, called PK retreat. It was Pastor's Kid Retreat.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. And all of those kids either go right into the church world or they go just nuts. Like, I've known psychos who were pastors' kids. And it's that pressure. It's like you either kind of give into that and do what your parents think and what God thinks you need to do,
yeah,
or you hate it so much and you like kids bringing like liquor to PK retreat and like getting caught in vans with people and it was a lot. It was a wild weekend.
It is interesting, like, and I'm sure in the next 10 years, like, as a parent, you'll face some of this as well, like how much structure to give a kid. Because if you give them none, they just go crazy. They have there's no, but if it's like too much, then they resist it. There's like, I don't know how you would even go about finding that balance. That would be so hard.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, like with my oldest, he's autistic, so the more routine, the better. Yeah. Because he hates change. He doesn't do well with like leaving a place is tough for him if he's really enjoying it, because he's like, I thought we were doing this. And like, so in that sense, it's kind of easy for him, but still it's tricky. Parenting's hard.
You mentioned, so that was a question I asked like 10 minutes ago, but I just said we'd get back to it.
Yeah.
So when your oldest son, how old is he now? 5?
5, yes.
How did you get the suspicion that he was autistic, or was that something you even thought, or were you just like, something is like he's struggling and I don't know what it is?
Yeah, there's like probably around the time he was 2 is when it really came on our radar, because there's certain like communication benchmarks that they're supposed to hit at a certain age.
Yeah.
And he was behind on a lot of those. And he could still get his point across, but it wasn't like words were really tricky for him. And still to this day, it's hard. So that's when the pediatrician was like, maybe we look at this. And honestly, like, I don't know how other parents react to that. I was just kind of like, okay, like whatever. I just want to figure out how to meet him where he's at.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. And so when they're that young, they send you home. This is all in the bit, but they send you home with a checklist. And it is like probably 40 or 50 things to look for. And this is like from communication to how they act in certain situations and like stuff like that. And we looked over the list, and it was like probably 80% of the list described him.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there's 3 levels to autism. There's he's number 2, so 3 is the most severe. 1 would be like us, I guess. But he's a 2. So we looked that over. It described him, and then we've just kind of like, he does like speech therapy. When he was born, he had like really slight cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And that was more scary to me than the autism for sure.
Yeah.
But it was so slight, like as he gets older, it'll go away type deal.
Oh, nice.
And so already it's like, it's barely there. He just kind of walks weird sometimes, especially if he speeds up.
Just crip walking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's basically it.
He's just affiliated at a
pretty
young
much.
age.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good, really.
We put him in a blue bandana and he's just fine.
He just vibes out. It's cool, but no, like. And
if the symptoms ever get to the hand, I mean, he's just throwing up.
Exactly. It's what we want ultimately. I want to be safe in the hood. I was like, that's my kid. Blonde hair, blue eyed. Look at that.
It's like Jimmy and Timmy.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, what a wonderful audience.
I fucking love it. It is so hard for me not, like, when a joke bombs, because I know how much you love that show.
Yes.
I love that show. It is really hard for me to be like, wow, what a great audience.
I have almost done it several times. I'm gonna bust it out. 2025 will be the year where I bust it out. But yeah, it's like but we were looking over that list, and it described me so much. It was weird, and like not so much now, but my childhood for sure.
Yeah.
And I really did call my mom. I literally was like, "What the hell, man?" Like, and their thing was like, in the 90s, like autism wasn't even like a conversation. Like, it just was this super like unknown thing, basically, except to like a minority of people. But it's become way more mainstream now. And so yeah, I was like, I don't know, it was never even like a conversation in my house. But that story of me like pretending to be an animal, that is real. I was just like, and I like memorized a bunch of animal facts.
Nice.
I was like, my parents told me like when my sister and my brother was being born, I was like debating nurses on animal facts.
Whoa.
Because I'd say something and they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, yes. So like, I'm sure I was being very cunty about it.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Like, that's the other thing about having kids is like, it kind of like, it sounds so cliche, but it like teaches you things about yourself. Like if
I believe it.
Yeah, like if he's freaking out in a moment, my wife's not really sure why, I can like pinpoint what's happening because I've been there. Like, no, I understand what's happening right now. It's weird.
That's interesting.
It's nice, but it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm autistic. I don't know.
That's really interesting. So let me ask you this. So
I'm sorry about the spitting. I know it's gross.
no, I don't mind at all.
Okay,
I
great.
wasn't even really thinking about it.
Perfect.
Now I'm just hyper fixated on it. No.
Yeah.
Ew. So obviously your oldest son, you said he loves a lot of structure.
Yeah.
How do you, and I genuinely wouldn't know, how as a parent do you kind of give him that structure to make him comfortable, but also push him outside that comfort zone because the world sometimes doesn't cater?
Like,
that would be a really hard balance to
just
find.
a lot of explaining. Just a lot of explaining.
That's
like
smart.
Like on the way here, he really wanted food.
Yeah.
And like my wife was dropping me off to come do this. And he didn't.
Daddy's got a pod.
Yeah,
sorry.
like, sorry, duty calls, dude. This is what the people want. He wasn't.
Listen, you're hungry. Daddy's got a dream.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly. So you can be hungry
You
later.
got a clip farm.
Yeah, chill. I'm going to be hungry after this. I need you to wait another hour and a half. But like so yeah, just like a lot of, because he's not understanding, like, I'm hungry. We've talked about food. Why is food not happening right now?
Gotcha.
So it's a lot of just like, we're going to drop daddy off and then you're going to go get food. And then he's like, okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of and re-explaining and
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
He's just a very logical guy.
He is. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, he has trouble with words. It's like kind of like his own version of words. So like if you're around him a lot, you can pretty much understand everything he's saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like, it's just a lot of patience, basically, which I don't have in abundance, but that helps, like, because you can't get mad at your autistic 5-year-old because he can't explain himself. You know what I mean? Like, so you just have to meet him where he's at.
You know what's interesting though is like I kind of love cliche quotes, but it's like if you want to become a patient person, it's not just like you get blessed with magical patience.
No, yeah.
You're presented with all these opportunities to learn patience.
Yeah, and that's helped a lot.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's tough, but it's necessary.
So with your second kid compared to your first kid, was it a lot easier or just a lot different?
Mostly different. Parenting is difficult no matter what, but he's like, they're like wildly different and very much alike. It's weird. They're definitely brothers. They're like 13 months apart.
Nice. So
and it's funny because like when your older sibling is kind of behind on some stuff and that's your example, he was behind on some stuff too.
Oh, okay.
He's caught up a lot now because he's been around other kids and like he has a lot of cousins. So like that helps.
Nice.
But yeah, so at the beginning, it's like, you know, you're not autistic. Get it together.
Quit fucking faking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, he's just fun. They're 5 and 4, so now it's just a good time all the time. Like it's just a lot of fun and like
It is probably a lot more fun once they can like do stuff.
Yeah,
and they're not just like
the toys
babies.
are better, the games are better, what's funny to them is better. It's like I feel like I'm finally like in the pocket. You know? When they're babies, a dad is kind of useless. You know,
that's such a good point.
You just kind of hang around.
My best friend has 2 kids now, younger than yours. So his are 3 and almost 1.
Okay,
and he said that like with a baby, you're just like what? Yeah,
you want to help.
He said the first 2 years of because he had so his daughter is the older one. Mm-hmm. He said for the first 2 years of her life, he's like, I'm just trying to keep her alive.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I'm not.
That's the whole thing.
The only way I can connect is like holding her, you know? But now she's like a real person.
Yeah.
And like with his son, the same way. He's like, I will show my love by keeping you alive.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah. I think the first few birthdays for them should be a celebration for the parents.
Well
like,
done, everybody.
You kept them alive another year.
Yeah.
Go have some cake. Here's a gift card. That type of thing. When we're doing a party for the kid, I'm like, he's literally only tried to kill himself this entire time.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just like, I deserve recognition here.
It is fun because he's a super like literal cerebral guy, and he was talking about just, he's like, you don't realize how poor humans are at surviving until you like have to ensure the survival of one.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just, they would be totally screwed in the wild.
I don't know how much of an effect evolution has had on us, but it has fucked us if it has. Yeah, like if
we didn't have like thumbs and like cerebral processing centers.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a wrap. That's it. Like, and then you read about like Spartans just like leaving their kids like in the woods till they're like 7.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then also Spartans gay.
So
doing
gay.
A lot of gay stuff.
I just found that they're so gay.
I didn't know if that was like a meme or not. I looked into it. You can tell me if I'm wrong because you might know more about this. But apparently, the reason for all these like massive gay Spartan orgies was that like you will fight more intensely alongside your brother if you have like a sexual bond.
Yes,
as well.
You're on the battlefield like, I need that dick. He can't die. It's crazy. It's so bad that like if they get married and they were off to war with like their bros just dicking each other down out on the battlefield, they'd come back and they'd like shave their wife's head so it would remind them more of their gay brother. It's crazy.
You shave your wife's head, you're like, Leonidas.
100%. That's what's so funny is like 300 is like this big like alpha male movie, and it's awesome. I love that movie. Yeah. But they left out all the dick. They were so gay. It's crazy. I've been like, there's a bit there. I don't know what it is. Yeah. But there's something there.
Yeah, there is.
I just want to ruin a guy's day by being like, this movie's gay as hell, right?
The part that they left in the director's cut.
Yeah, dude.
The fact that they are all uncut.
Yes, just gay orgies all the time.
Oh, that's so funny. I wanted to know, so you're like a massive Lakers fan.
Yes.
I have to know where that comes from.
Okay.
It's like so unexpected. Like most like popular normie stuff.
Yeah,
you like make fun of a lot, but you love the Lakers.
I do love the Lakers.
Cracks me up.
Yeah, I love the Lakers. I didn't grow up in like a big sports home.
Yeah,
it was never big to like my grandpa, so it was never that big to my dad. So when I started
your
paying
grandpa
attention,
and dad were like, who gets buckets? Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. My dad, we watched a lot of golf when I was a kid. Yeah, so like big Tiger household, big Phil household.
I bet his cheating scandal rocked the Barriss family.
It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Which is really. Have you heard the Ron White bit about that?
No, I don't think
it's
so.
It's the best bit I've ever heard about this topic.
What is it?
He's like, my wife hates Tiger Woods for cheating, but we have a friend who cheated on his wife, and she's not mad at him. And I was like, why are you not mad at him? He's like, well, he only did it one time. And he was like, yeah, he did it 100% of the time it was available to him. He's like, Tiger had sex with 18 women out of 82,000 women. That's love.
Yeah.
It's like, if he, like every woman on the planet was like, please fuck me.
Yeah.
And like, it was just a Denny's waitress and a couple porn stars. It's like, that's love.
I heard,
but yeah, it was a big deal. I remember that Thanksgiving.
I heard a Sam Morril bit one time, and he said that like, he's a comedian who's on the road a lot, but he's never once cheated on his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And they always ask him, like, how do you stay loyal? He's like, never once has a woman tried to fuck me.
Yeah, dude, that's all you need to be.
He's like, if I was any more appealing, I would be a piece of shit.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? We watched so much Tiger Woods. I'll get back to the Lakers thing, but we watched so much Tiger Woods that I think it was the PGA Championship before that Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
He lost to that Asian guy.
Y.E. Yang.
Yes.
I'll never forget that.
And the whole time you're watching him, you're like, this is a lock. He's gonna. And then that Sunday, he doesn't look right. It doesn't seem right. We were like, what the fuck? And then November rolls around, all the scandal breaks, and we were like, that's what it was.
Yep,
because his edge was mental. He's obviously exceptionally talented, but like he'd walk on a course and guys would be afraid.
Yeah, dare I say there was a in the armor.
There was. Oh! Pow! 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 Holy shit!
I might have to edit that out. I don't know if that's allowed to say.
I think it's great.
It is a real saying.
Yeah.
It just happens to have a double meaning.
Exactly.
It's
fine. We're talking about the armor. I'm at war with YouTube right now, so whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, dude. We'll get to that too.
Yeah. No, tell me about the Lakers.
The
I
Laker
want to hear
thing,
about the war with YouTube.
Yeah. So the Laker thing. When I started paying attention to basketball, I lived in Missouri.
Okay.
At the time, there wasn't the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
So there's no team around that I could really be into. I loved Kobe. So I was just all in on the Lakers. That said, the first basketball I ever really watched, but I didn't care as much back then, was the Cavs because I lived in Cleveland.
Oh, whoa.
I've been in the High Five Tunnel twice.
Damn.
Yeah. So, like, I'll always have a soft spot for LeBron, too. So when LeBron went to the Lakers...
Double.
I got the news at a 4th of July party, and I literally ran around the 4th of July party. Whoa! And that's been mostly bad since 2020.
I mean, they got a title out of it.
We did get a title out of it, and that's nice. I like that. But now, like, we drafted his son, who is just bad. There's just no way around it.
It's an interesting draft choice.
He had a contract offered to him from FaZe Clan to just play video games.
Oh, man.
And my wife was like, why would you do that? I was like, why would you not do that?
Yeah.
Millions of dollars to just play video games?
Yeah, like Bronny and Bryce, I wonder like how much do they love basketball? Because like for LeBron, you know, he didn't have basketball modeled to him. He was like, this is my shit. But for them, it's like, that's their whole, I guess I'll play basketball.
Yeah, I think Bryce will be better than Bronny.
You do?
Yeah,
okay.
I watched both of them play AAU ball and like high school ball. Bryce is
he could be the real deal.
I think so. I don't like real deal. I don't think that he's going to be like LeBron because that's crazy.
Yeah,
but hold his own for sure.
Nice.
I think he could be on a starting five.
I heard a LeBron story. I've over the last couple of years, I've become a big like NBA fan.
Yeah,
I don't. You know, I'm terrible at basketball.
It kind of sucks now.
You don't like it?
I'm kind of uninterested this season.
Huh?
Because it's just like a lot of threes,
a lot of threes,
a lot of over officiating, a lot of like guys just resting.
They're trying to get rid of that.
They got to
65 game minimum.
Yeah,
it's working a little bit.
It's like even that. It's like I was such a Kobe guy.
Yeah,
like I remember when he snapped his Achilles and then shot the free throws.
Yes.
Like,
oh, that was crazy.
It's the best. And then and he probably stayed in the league too long if you look at his trajectory there at the end. But then leaving the league with a 60-point retirement game.
That was incredible.
Oh my God. I remember like all the celebrities in the stands.
Yes.
Like Snoop Dogg being like,
they were going crazy.
Oh my God. And then like in the tunnel before the game started, Shaq saw him and was like, I need 50 tonight. And he was like, I got you.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he died in a helicopter crash, and I cried.
Oh my God!
I cried so much that day.
It is kind of like mind blowing that
it's weird he's dead.
Yeah, it is so weird.
That's a weird one.
That is weird.
My wife texted me like Jimmy Carter died yesterday.
Yeah,
and she was like, Jimmy Carter died, and I was like, okay. She was like, isn't that weird? I was like, no, he was 100.
Yeah,
he has been here too long.
I saw a tweet and it said, damn, vaccines will really get you. Jimmy Carter got the diphtheria vaccine, and 90 years later, he died.
Damn. It's nuts. No, but I am at war with YouTube right now.
Oh, I did one LeBron story. I heard.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't even know if this is true. You would probably be able to tell me if it's true. So Rich Paul, his agent and like business partner, I read that they met at an airport when Rich Paul was selling jerseys.
Wow.
And LeBron bought it. LeBron was impressed that he had a retro alternative Warren Moon jersey.
Okay.
And LeBron's like, you're a guy that knows how to get shit.
Yeah.
So they stay in touch, and LeBron like keeps buying jerseys from him.
Wow.
And somehow that becomes
That's amazing.
Clutch Sports and Rich Paul. I don't know how they went from there, but I heard that was the story of how they met.
Yeah. And then you go from there to LeBron being like, ain't no party like a Diddy party. Then now it's just.
Oh my God. When you said on your podcast the other day, you were like, if it turns out that LeBron was assaulting kids at a Diddy party, that's the last thing the Lakers need right
It's
now.
the literal last thing the Lakers need.
funny.
It's like that. Ugh. I just watched a movie last night called Paterno. And it's
Joe Paterno?
Yes.
Oh.
It's all about, which by the way, this whole time I thought Joe Paterno was Jerry Sandusky.
No, two different guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew both names were involved.
Yeah.
But I thought the old man with the glasses was the one having sex with kids. He was just the one
the head coach.
not telling anyone about the sex with kids. This whole time I was.
He's like, man, my assistant coach fucks these kids, but my God, he can scheme an offense. I
Yeah,
tell you what.
He was just like, hey, he's a good guy, you know, which is kind of how I feel about LeBron. I'm like, he's a good guy. We don't talk this way about a good guy.
I was gonna say, I think he was cleared of that, right? Or I don't know if it's still.
I don't know. You can't trust the internet. It's like, I'll wait to see what happens.
Yeah,
Same thing with Drake. What a miserable year it's been for Drake.
that's true because you're a big Drake guy.
I love
too.
Drake.
Golly,
I'm like in his top 0.2% of listeners.
yeah,
God,
that's tough.
it's not good at all.
Tough year for the Barriss household.
And we haven't spoken in quite some time, so I just want to know how he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, bro, call me.
You're like,
I'm here for you. Everything's fine. I don't think you're a pedophile. It's fine.
oh man, what if Drake actually called you and he's like, "Hey Tyler, like I just need a friend right now."
Bro, fly me out. I'll come to the 6. Let's do this.
I've been to Toronto before for a golf tournament.
Yeah.
It's a lot smaller than I thought it was. Like the downtown is like,
Yeah.
So, but just a random anecdote.
That's fun. I like that.
But you guys have recently faced first bout of controversy.
Yeah, I'm at battle with big tech. The Copper Isle is about to be a free speech haven. I'll move to Rumble. I'll start really grifting right wing
on
stuff.
Kick. Yeah.
I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
We had an episode taken down. Our Christmas extravaganza part 1.
Oh, not part 1.
And then I didn't even try to upload part 2.
Oh no.
Mostly out of spite.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck you, YouTube. It's not like I'm adding anything to them, but I got to get my win somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was talking about a thing that had to do with a very controversial thing from 2020.
The Lakers title?
Yes.
Bubble championship?
Yes.
Very controversial.
Things associated with the bubble and that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even about that. I just used certain words that had to do with that. And then it got the thing removed. And it was
So
like,
weird.
What's crazy to me is, like in the episode before, we did a bit about like if Chris Hansen caught a guy and he was like, I'm not here to have sex with the kid. I'm here to murder it.
I remember that. That was very funny.
It was great.
Yeah.
Not a word from YouTube.
Yeah.
And then this thing gets misconstrued and they take it down to keep the community safe.
Of course.
We got to keep the community safe.
Yeah, keep the community safe.
And it was so frustrating.
There's new variants every day.
Yes, exactly.
People could be on, minute 73 of the Christmas extravaganza part
100%.
1. Get misinformation.
Yes.
And they could come down with Omicron, Delta, Beta 7.
Yes, and then we're all fucked.
Yeah.
That's the one where you become feral.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rabies, essentially. But yeah, so they took it down, and now
That's it. But the part to me that surprised me is when you said they took it down and you were like, I'm going to appeal it. I'm like, oh, he's got it handled. And then the appeal gets rejected. To me, that was surprising.
because they're like, you can appeal it. We'll get back to you within 72 hours. 40 minutes later, they rejected it.
It is so weird.
fast. And I was like, I don't know. We weren't even talking about that thing. That thing did come up later in the episode because we were talking about Damar Hamlin and some of the theories around that.
Oh, yeah.
And I would have thought it came from that.
Yeah.
But they timestamped it at an area where we weren't talking about the V. We were talking about something else.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, fuck you, YouTube. You're trying to destroy my catapult.
Yeah. This is supposed to launch you guys into the upper echelons
of entertainers worldwide.
worldwide.
Come on. But yeah.
It has been fun to watch the numbers go up though.
They haven't gone up. Yeah, we are on a nice trajectory.
Yeah.
I was explaining it to someone recently. I was like, it's not so much this, it's more like this.
Up is up.
Up is up.
Yeah.
And it's going good.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
I mean, it's been really cool because you guys have actually stuck to it. You're putting out consistent episodes.
Yeah, and it's the most like low maintenance, low effort podcast that probably exists.
I don't know. I think the chemistry you guys have,
yeah,
you're building that like 24/7.
Yeah, we're in a good
hanging out,
we're in a
doing
good
the
spot
mics.
right now, and the episodes and the chemistry's getting better, and it's just it's fun, and like it's weird talking to people who like listen often.
Yeah.
Like there are people who listen to every episode, and
That's
they'll
pretty cool.
bring up bits from it to you at like open mics and shit, and it's weird, but it's fun. Thank you for everyone.
The burden of being a superstar.
Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it's been fun. I really like doing the podcast.
It is cool.
It's a good time.
Because I remember when you were talking about starting it, a lot of people that do stand they all talk about starting a podcast. And there's like a couple early roadblocks, such as, getting the RSS feed and the distribution figured out, getting the equipment. And usually that derails people.
Yeah.
And when you just flew through that stuff, I was like, oh, this pod is going to make it.
Yeah, because you need, like, you can't just do stand up anymore and expect that to kind of grow you.
There's got to be a vehicle.
Yeah. So I was like, podcasting, I know there's a billion of everything at this point. So it was like back to like the overthinking. I was like, well, there's so many of these. How do you? But it's like, fuck that. You have to just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And so, started the podcast, and that's been nice because you can, when you're just like, this one has structure and there's like, you have like notes and shit. That's crazy.
It's not helping.
Well, I've enjoyed where the direction we went, but like it's so different from what we do, because it's like we just talk about whatever movie we watched or like thing we saw in the news, and then you just try to riff in it, and then hopefully out of those riffs you get like bits, which has happened a couple times. But yeah, and then like it's basically either like you do podcasts or like skits.
Yeah.
To do online, and I'm trying to get more into that. It's just that's hard.
Yeah, sketches are not my natural forte, and this is like the last thing I should be worrying about. But I think to myself, like, what if I did something that I didn't like doing, and that was the thing that blew up, and that's what I had to keep doing?
I think of that all the time. I think of that all, which in a sense is an insane thought.
Yeah,
it's like ugh. Of course I'm going to go viral off this thing I hate. Like, it's crazy, but I do relate to that. I do think the same thing. Sketches are really fun if you do the right one. And it's fun because if you have, like, I've only uploaded one sketch to Instagram, and it's all based around a bit that I do on stage. So that's fun if you can figure out how to like rework your material into something like that. I'd like to do more of them. It's mostly just thinking of an idea, making sure that idea hasn't popped off recently. It's the same as jokes. It's like I don't want to rip off someone else unknowingly. But if you put it on the internet, it's way more likely to get pointed out if it's ripped off.
That's true.
So that's tricky. But it's mostly overthinking. I think at the end of the day, like I saw someone posted on Instagram recently, they were like, part of art is not giving a fuck, basically. You can't worry about being embarrassed. You can't worry about what other people are thinking. Yeah. So like in our thing, like, is it funny? Great. Did you take it from someone else knowingly? No. Okay, then just put it out, see what happens. But then yeah, it's just ideas. It's just tricky, but I'd like to do more of that. I'm trying to be in as many avenues as I can.
Yeah, that's also true. You never know
forward.
what thing you're going to have like a predisposition towards,
and
what thing is going to connect.
Yeah, because out of those things, I just stand-up's what I enjoy doing the most.
Yeah.
It's what I've put the most time into. I think I'm the best at it out of those things for me personally. So if that remains true, you hope that one of those things leads to people discovering that, and then that's what you ultimately get to end up doing. But
that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Speaking of like end up doing and where you're going, so if you're looking forward to 2025,
yes,
what is in comedy and outside of comedy, just as like a dad, as a person, what do you aspire to be? Not only this coming year, but like going forward. Because I feel like we've been doing stand up almost the exact same amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Like 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
So I feel like now we're finally getting to a place where we're starting to get good. You know, or not, at least not
compared
as
to what
bad.
we were. Yeah.
I'm sure at 10 years we'll be like, wow, we sucked at 3 years. But
Yeah,
this is
hopefully.
usually when you start getting good enough to start progressing. So both in comedy and outside of comedy, do you have any hopes and dreams for the near future?
Yeah, I think this year I added like somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes of like funny material.
Nice.
So I'd like to at least do that in 2025. I want to grow the podcast as much as possible and keep it like consistently funny. If to no one else, then just to us.
Yeah.
If you're making the people in the room laugh, that'll make someone else laugh. That's the whole thing. But then I'd like to write more sketches, produce more sketches by myself or with people, just whoever's down. I'm right on the cusp of getting like starting to get like weekends and stuff at Bricktown.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like my main goal. And then like as a podcast, we'd like to start putting on shows.
That'd be
so like
sick.
the Copper Valhalla presents, and then have people do the show. That's just a matter of like finding a venue, getting pay worked out and all that. I don't know how any of that works.
Yeah, dude, running shows is hard. So if you pull that off, that would be sick.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of want to do it as a podcast, because then it's not just on me, but on three of us. So like if each part of us can contribute to that in some way, that'd be ideal.
Yeah.
And just like monthly, bi-monthly, I don't really care. But that's something we've talked about doing and would like to do, because I like anytime there's another bookable show in the scene, that's a win for everybody.
That's true.
And like make it good, like keep the show good, like a good day of the week, good lineups, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's tricky, but that's something that we're talking about and trying to get the wheels turning on. So I guess those are my immediate goals.
That'd be so cool. Like in 2025, you do a weekend, you producing your own show, and the pod is growing.
Yeah,
that would be. I think those are all achievable and would be sick if you made them all happen.
That's what I think too. I'm not big on like putting like stupid goals for myself.
Those are all very realistic.
Yeah, they
goals.
seem attainable and like doable. So yeah, I got to do a guest spot for Big J. That went really well. Management saw me do well, so that's all working out.
It's all percolating.
Yeah, we're percolating.
Beneath the surface, bubbles are forming.
We percolating, we bubbling. We bubbling in this bitch.
What was the there's a litany of factors.
A litany,
contributing to your success.
Yes.
That was a great word.
Thank you.
So well deployed.
I have a good vocabulary.
Yeah.
I don't unleash it often.
Yeah, your IQ's like 160, but sometimes to relate to these open mic audiences,
I'll drop it down to 80.
You just gotta dumb it down.
I'll drop it down to 80.
You want to get up there and talk about how like gravity is an interesting concept in the theory of gravity.
I'm trying to talk about litanies per capita, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get into.
But litanies per capita, you got a phrase as, yo, ain't money retarded?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't mind getting a little retarded, dude. Yeah. We can make that happen.
What about like offstage? Any like personal, those are a little harder to set, more abstract.
Yeah, I think just be a good dad. That's kind of situation to situation. Just learn from mistakes and bad choices. Don't repeat those, whether that's in parenting or marriage or whatever. Make more money.
Ooh,
that would be nice. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out ways to do that. But also, all those other comedy goals can help with that.
True.
So yeah, just stuff like that, man.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm not too complicated.
Better dad, funnier guy.
That's all I'm trying to be. That's all I'm trying to be.
Dude, thank you for hanging out. This has been a ton of fun.
I finally made it on the podcast, dude.
Hey, the Trout Pod is finally back.
Yeah.
The extended hiatus.
I was first offered a spot like a year ago. I'm so happy to be on here.
Thank you for being nicer about me not doing the pod than other people.
I get it now.
Because a lot of people that I was like, hey, I'm going to have you on, then I was working. I was like, I got to take a break from the pod.
Yeah.
They were really rude about it.
A podcast is a lot of work, especially when you put this much effort into it. We have 3 cameras.
We do. It's too much.
I now knowing what I know about edit. I have one camera that's on my phone, and I just matching the audio to the video is so hard.
It's brutal.
Now doing that with 3 cameras.
I did find software that helps with it. That was
perfect.
I'll send you what I'm.
Send me
using.
what you got.
It's good.
Yes, let me know whatever you have. I do the entire podcast on my phone.
Honestly, that's not bad.
It's pretty sick.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Maybe get a computer. I'll do that for 2025.
Dude, thanks for coming on. I know you and the fam about to go see Sonic 3.
We
That's
are.
A big...
I have not seen the first 2, so it's going to be nap time.
As a huge Sonic fan, there's a lot of lore drops you've been missing.
Great.
This movie's going to go way over your head.
They're going to remaster Sonic Heroes.
No way.
Yes, I just saw that the other day.
Wow.
So that game was awesome.
The only thing better than Hero is a remaster.
Exactly, dude.
Incredible.
Team Shadow all the way.
Well, we'll have Tyler back to tell us how Sonic 3 went.
Yes.
And to tell us if he's being a good father. Spoiler alert, he is.
Oh!
Hey, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, dude.